Okay, guys, so thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of CX Chronicles podcast. So today, guys, we're here live at the Cyara Xchange 2025 event in Austin, Texas. I'm sitting with my friend Erica McMannes. Erica, say hello to CX Nation.
Very excited to be here. I think we mentioned earlier that I might be a round 2 or 3 badge winner or something of being on the podcast. So I'm waiting for that.
You're absolutely right. Let me expand on this. So, guys, so Erica, a couple of things. Erica is on a short list of people that has not once, not twice, but with this event here, 3 times. A past guest of the CX Chronicles podcast. So pumped to have you back on the show.
Yeah, thanks. It's just always a joy. I always love being able to come talk about anything CX, specifically on the people and the culture and the workforce side. So really excited just kind of about that fusion of what this conference is bringing from the AI perspective and how we really focus on that with the people.
I love it. So number one, why don't you start off? Why don't you set the stage? So number one, tell the people a little bit about yourself, Erica, and then definitely tell people what you and Liza and the whole team are doing and building at Instant Teams today.
Yeah, our teams make it very easy to talk about. We have great people at Instant Teams. But my name is Erica McMannes. I'm the CXO and co-founder at Instant Teams, and we are a CX talent marketplace. So we have been building out high-class, high-performing, really smart, empathetic CX teams for brands and companies across the nation for about the past 8 years now. And we really specialize in the kind of a special demographic talent group of military spouses.
Yep.
So we outsource, we do boutique BPO, we have a brand new job board, but we really specialize on being able to bring dual income opportunities to military families.
That's awesome.
All the while, obviously, bringing great business and CX solutions to the companies that we work with.
Yep, I love that. So number one, such a great way of thinking about that, and such a cool place for you to be at this week because, guys, we have so our friends at Cyara have a bunch of incredible customers that they work with, and some of the customers that they work with today that are here with us are some of the biggest banks, some of the biggest technology companies. So, Erica, the stuff that you guys are doing at Instant Teams, they might not at face value understand sort of the connection, but there's a connection here. Meaning, there's this blend of taking technology and processes and the scale that businesses have been able to achieve. But what you guys do this brilliant job of is you provide this whole other potential workforce that's primed, prepped, educated, oftentimes already battle tested. No pun intended there.
Yeah. Great pun.
Right, awesome one. Because they're all military spouses. But this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. And I was pumped that you were able to join because there's all sorts of cool things going on. Like the Cyara team is, they live in a world where they're constantly thinking about. Not just customer experience, but how does employee or agent experience really get you to where you're trying to go? But before we get into some of that stuff, Erica, talk a little bit about so we know the need. There's companies out there all over that have to have help with their managing their customer communications, their phone calls, their chats, their emails. How did you kind of start to realize this opportunity, and how did you almost start to build without even maybe realizing there's tons of demand. But you guys have built this supply and demand side of marketplace where this great group of people that you can go get to fill. How did this kind of come about, or just spend a couple minutes kind of talking about that?
Yeah, marketplace is probably one of the hardest businesses to start out there.
Absolutely.
So whole different podcast episode on how marketplaces come to be. But it's a really unique intersection of both Liza and I, what we knew in our backgrounds and what we did before we ended up founding Instant Teams, supporting companies, building opportunities, finding talent in very different ways. And when we saw that the companies that we were working with were consistently looking for great talent, and this was 8 years ago, so remote work wasn't as prolific as it is now.
Totally.
But because we were mission driven to get those, stable growth potential jobs for our peers and our neighbors who were also fellow military spouses. We knew that those skill sets, whether hard or soft, right? There's a lot of transferable skills from jobs that a lot of people have, teaching, nursing. Anything out there can be translated into a tech support kind of customer support CX driven job. And so we were really passionate about proving that model out. So some of our earliest accounts were health tech and ed tech accounts where we were taking nurses and teachers who were military spouses who had those very tangible jobs to move with them, who were ready to go remote, and we were able to bring those and train them on to be great CX agents. And so they had the hard skills and understanding who the customers were, the empathy and understanding those environments, and those really hard skills and soft skills combined just made and piloted incredible success stories for us. And so we've just been able to grow into that CX space and work with bigger and larger brands since then.
That's fantastic. I think, I had the pleasure, guys, of several weeks ago, I was down at the Instant Teams Community Builders event, week 2025 in Southern Pines with you guys. And it was super interesting, number one, just to learn more and more and more about the opportunity in front of you guys. Like, most of us don't even think, guys, like there's huge companies out there that inevitably, for many reasons or not, whether they can share them or not, they have to have American butts in seats filling at least X% of their spend, which should be the case, by the way. Let's call it what it is. Number two, I'm thinking about Jen and Erica from your team. And then most people think about it. We all struggle and we all fight to try to even just get 10 applications in the damn door when we're in a position where our businesses are growing and we think we need to add new fresh blood to the team, and there's things that we need help with, all this stuff. And I remember I'm thinking about Jen and Erica in our conversation, like there's like a football stadium of military spouses that are literally primed, ready to rock and roll, oftentimes already have like the specific type of experience that you might need for customer communications, customer tickets, customer success is another thing that you guys are starting to get into. But like, don't make it harder than it has to be. Like there's other strategic partnerships out there that really can kind of help you with this. I think it's such a cool business. A couple questions for you. With all these awesome tech people that we have running around today, because Erica's been with me here all day, guys, and we have all these people, these guys and gals that are literally building, engineering, developing some of the behind the scenes stuff that we all like to talk about at a high level. But like, I guess, what are some things that you're seeing at Instant Teams, Erica, as it relates to like, you guys are you seeing the same common problems or challenges within your clients' tech stacks? Do those matter to you guys, or are they being dealt with by the client? Like, you're going to be seeing and feeling a lot of conversations around here this week that are really kind of getting into the weeds in terms of the nuts and bolts. But like, how do you guys kind of think about it, like as far as like a tech perspective, or just in terms of how you all think about, you bring a new customer on, what are the first things we do to understand how to leverage and master your tech stack?
Yeah, that's why I love being in like these the CX AI conference environments, because we are strategic partners in talent, putting the teams together, helping deploy, again, good military pun, deploy the talent. But we plug and play into our customers' tech stacks. So we see all the different tools. We see all the different things that our customers are using and hear their challenges as we're either training the trainer model and getting our people in, or, helping just kind of integrate into the tech stack. What we see, and I think what's really interesting in these types of AI conference environments, is that people use the tools, right? So you can't forget about the people using the tools.
Totally.
The decision makers buying the tools, that's great. What does that change management look like? How are we integrating that? And because we do that for various brands and companies, our kind of current thought process is, how do we continue just to train our teams to be apt at that and nimble in those AI type of tools, right? Whether it's agent assist or it can't be experts at all of them. And so since we plug into a lot of different systems, like that's kind of our current thought process and challenges. Like, what are those core functions of just knowing how to use an AI tool to help you perform better, or to help you get the job done? And how do we pull those skills out? How do we identify those skills so that people can be nimble as they're learning new skills? Because companies are also going to change their AI tools fast or completely out the door. Like, people are in this very experimental stage with those right now.
It's funny. Hearing you say that last part, it makes me think of a story. A few months ago, I had an opportunity to go to London and to Dublin to meet. Well, London was Intercom Pioneer event, and then Dublin was SaaStock. And the last thing that you just said that made me think about it, literally just popped a visual right into my brain. Des Traynor, who is one of the co-founders of Intercom out of Dublin, he's up on stage and he shows this incredible slide of, like, I'm not kidding, hundreds of these bright, shiny AI logos, meaning all the shit that we keep talking about over the last year and change, since AI has become the most, probably the most common or re-recited phrase that all of us are saying, certainly in the business world. But the slide literally he shows is like, okay, here's everything that we're looking at today. Here's all the supposed leaders. But he had a really funny Irish wit around him where he said, like, but let's call it what it is, guys. These all have thin wrappers. These are all going to be things that we'll see what's here in 3 to 5 years. And then he clicked like a phaser on the mouse or on the presenter tool, and it made 80-90% of the 90% of them evaporate and go away. And then he said, here's where we believe some of the leading AI solutions look like. But his point was this: nobody knows the future. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen unless you're Marty McFly. And but his point was like whether those logos get gobbled up by the bigger ones that ended up going into his shift phase for here's the future, or just Darwin, right? Like many of them, we'll see if they're good enough to actually remain alive in this ecosystem. So it's really kind of just such an interesting place and time in the world. But I agree with you entirely. Nothing beats being able to go hear how other practitioners at other companies, we got some really dope companies here that me and you were talking to this week, how they think about it, what they prioritize, where they immediately associate people as continuing to be the fuel for that AI functionality period, versus things where they maybe are a little bit ahead, where they, some of the easier, more repetitive, lower, like, complex types of items, you give that stuff to robots all damn day to go do that stuff because we can go focus on it. But it's just kind of interesting time and place and space that we're in right now.
Yeah, it is for sure. And delivering talent in the CX industry in a time where AI is being, very volatile, but also very sought after, it gives a really unique opportunity to kind of show how all of that can work together to be that competitive edge. And at the end of the day, it's always going to be the people. I mean, even if there's certain tasks that you're, eliminating by uses of a really efficient AI tool, awesome.
Absolutely.
But then it's allowing those tier maybe 1.5 or tier 2 support teams to do more and to take on more at a complex level because some of those tasks have been done. So it's just a really interesting, I think, evolution overall of how people see who CX talent and CX teams are in kind of that AI environment.
Yep, I totally agree. I couldn't agree with more. So number one, Erica, I'm super pumped that you were able to come join us in Austin this week. I'm super pumped for tomorrow's panel. So guys, tomorrow, Erica, myself, Dean Nicholas, who's the CEO and founder of Forethought, and then Mitch Reisner, who is the Chief Revenue Officer of Cyara, who actually I think is waiting for us shortly to have a little chat about tomorrow. But we're going to be doing an event, literally, or a live panel event here in Austin, Texas at the W Hotel, really kind of focused around what me and Erica are wrapping on today, which is like future of AI, future of customer experiences, future of employee experience. You better believe I'm going to bring that up on stage tomorrow, because that's the reason why I was so thrilled for you and Dion and Mitch, because y'all kind of, you almost don't even have to talk. You guys talk about EX before you even allow somebody to get it. So that's the way that it should be done. But I'm super pumped. Before I let you go, though, is there, if there was like one big thing that you were super duper excited to maybe learn or hear about, maybe there's something that you and Liza and the team are thinking about on the AI front. What might be the one thing that you're trying to continue to wet your whistle in terms of learning or digging a little bit deeper in terms of things that you already know are going to be able to, that you're going to be able to leverage at Instant Teams in terms of driving growth and things like that as it relates to AI and some of the tech builds that we're looking at here this week?
Yeah, so I mentioned and from the customer front, we plug and play, so we're learning about those different tools that way. But internally, we're kind of at this really great point this year to kind of figure out like what can help us scale. Like what are the things that we can do and adopt, some type of tool. So we have cool exposure to see a lot of the tools, go to conferences like this, talk with thought leaders. But just, really curious on, as we're providing support through the talent side of CX, like what can we do to higher volume, better matching, better performance, and do that in a way that can just, help us scale and grow.
I love that, because you're right, because hiring and matching, that's not necessarily a world that can all be mathematically and AI driven. Like
these are people at the end of the day.
People at the end of the day. And then the other thing too is like, sure, maybe that stuff can help me with pile stacking or sorting. But I would argue, and I've literally had friends on the podcast that have said, we're still, and this is the point of why we're all here this week, and Rishi said this in his conversation with us, but like, we are here to exchange ideas and information. That's why we're here. But like, there's been people even on the show that talk about be careful with AI and bots as it relates to hiring, because you might miss that. For using a sports analogy, you might miss the Brett Favre, you might miss the Tom Brady, the last round of the last pick of the draft. There's still something about smart humans. Doing things to come up with smart downstream.
The vibes and the empathy and like those gut instincts in that hiring process, that like when you have really, really smart teams. I haven't seen that replicated quite yet.
I love it. Well, Eric, before I let you go, let people know where can they find out more about you, or where can they learn more about Instant Teams if they're interested in learning more about the incredible mission that you guys are building.
Yeah, great. Easy to find us at instantteams.com. And I love LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every single day, Erica McMannes, and would love to have great conversations.
Awesome. Erica, thank you so much for joining CXC. It's been our pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.